Let's go.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with Sam for your Lions Raw match reaction show. And we thought we had to get on tonight to talk about what was an absolutely crazy game of football that could have been catastrophic, but in the end turned into absolute euphoria. Aston Villa making it difficult for themselves, but coming through a brilliant game, 4-3 against Sunderland. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help us on the road to 7,000. We are on last count 6,950. So just 50 more to hit the big 7K. So you know what to do. Like, subscribe, get your comments in as well. Get your questions in. We're going to go through the key moments of the game, reflect on those. We're going to talk about some key performances and obviously get your thoughts as well on the game. Sam, great to see you, mate. What a game it was. What a game. We don't make it easy for ourselves, do we?
It's never boring, is it? It's yeah. Oh my God. That's the Premier League, boys and girls. That's what we pay our hard-earned money to see. And it's a roller coaster, right? Because it looks so comfortable. And then just a shock couple of minutes. Had me like head in hands, and luckily the boys responded a lot better than I did. and yeah, we went from 92nd minute thinking, oh my God, what have we done here? We've done an Arsenal. We're bottling this. What's going on? To we can sit on this podcast now and talk about Champions Leagues being pretty much wrapped up. No.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. From well, we will get into all of it. We'll get through all of the key moments, but in summary, it was from comfort and cruise control to absolute panic and not being able to even fathom what's happening to then absolute euphoria, all in the space of about 10 crazy minutes of the game of football. And as you say, mate, it's what the Premier League can do. And also, full credit to Sunderland. We're going to obviously talk a lot about Aston Villa and what we did, but a good side they are, aren't they? Very good side. They compete. They win first balls. They win second balls. They put pressure on you. They've got good rotation. Like, watching the game, 1 minute Siddiqui was further forward, then he was out on left wing, and then they had their fullbacks in central midfield. They had Diarra up front, and Diarra's taking the ball off the back four, all sort of conducted by Xhaka in there as well. They're a very, very dangerous team, and it's no surprise that they are up there and they're causing teams problems. So absolutely fair play to Sunderland for that game.
Does that pain you to say as a Newcastle fan, or are you?
Do you know what? I love it. I absolutely love it that Sunderland are doing well, because it's really rattling the Newcastle fans.
Yeah, I mean, look, they say you can't fluke your way in the Premier League, right? You generally end up where you deserve. And look at Sunderland have had an amazing run this year, coming up from the Championship, and they look super well balanced. I mean, I'll be honest, on the balance of play throughout the 90 minutes, I thought we were a much better side, and I think that the scoreline kind of flattered Sunderland slightly. But I mean, considering that they were in the Championship last year and that they've not been in the Premier League for so long, and a proper like Barclays team, do you know what I mean? Like a proper Premier League side that I watched growing up, had some amazing players, like Darren Bent and Jermaine Defoe, and it's really nice to see them come up and thrive and compete. And I think if there was an award for signing of the season, it probably would go to Granit Xhaka, wouldn't it? Because it's just he's like a brilliant example of what having a leader does to a team. But hey ho, at the end of the day, they're very good. But we still beat them.
Precisely. It's really nice to say that after getting this result. Of course, it's all full credit to the opposition. Like, start giving them a little pat on the head, saying, "Oh, you did well, guys."
Yeah, thanks for turning up, mate. You've seen the Villa now. Everyone knows the rest. Yeah, no, it's mental. What a game! What a game! There's so many things to go through. Why don't we crack through from the start?
Absolutely. Let's talk about the starting lineup first. Were there any surprises to you? We went with Martinez, Cash, Conte, Mings, Ian Matson, Onana, and Tielemans were the two sort of central midfielders. Then you had Barkley, McGinn, Rodgers ahead of those two, with Ollie Watkins up front. Any slight surprises for you, mate, or were you happy with that?
I think the only surprise for me was maybe not resting more players, if I'm being honest. Had a really hard fought win in the Europa League. I say hard fought, it was the easiest 4-0 win you've ever seen. I was at that one, and I was just joking around. I was barely watching the game, if I'm being honest. It was such a canter. But still, I mean, we've got a lot of important football coming up. The Premier League seemed at one stage that we were doing pretty much where we needed to be. So I was surprised maybe to not see Tammy start, maybe, or see McGinn or Tielemans given a rest, considering that they've recently come back from injury. But Unai, I said this before the Bologna game, then we had like 19 players on yellow cards, and I said on the pod, I was like, he's not changing any of them.
Yeah, you did.
I said you were going to see the exact same team. Maybe like a Buendia start. He played so well against Bologna. Maybe he's saving Buendia. I don't know if Buendia is part of his first 11 or not. I can't work it out. Whether
seems to be interchanging between him and Barkley at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it was one of those. I wasn't unhappy with the team sheet at all. Happy to see Martinez back, and Mings. I was, I'm loving a bit of Pau Torres at the moment. I can't lie to you. So whenever he's fit and available, I'd love to have him in the team. But I thought Mings was a good choice against Bobby, just to see that kind of physical battle. And I didn't really have many complaints at the start.
No, absolutely, mate. I'm with you there. We've got a strong squad, and it's amazing how there's almost an embarrassment of riches now after us being on the floor with so many injuries, with McGinn out, Tielemans out, Kamara, Cash was out for a time. Then we had Barkley trying to get back fit. We were scratching for players on the bench, and now it's like, well, we're leaving Pau Torres out of the squad. So yeah, it's certainly a good time. And the way we started the game, perfect start for Villa. Brilliant move down the right-hand side. Lovely little chip faded pass by Cash over the top, seeing John McGinn in behind. He's got his pitching wedge out with his right foot. And then McGinn with his right foot hooks it across, and Watkins, I don't think he'll score an easier goal. Maybe his second goal, but yeah. He's in the right place at the right time, heads it into an empty net, and Villa get off to the perfect start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure we'll get onto individual players and get a chance to talk about that man on the screen there. Because for once, I'd love to give him some praise, actually. I think, it was a really good move. And we seem to be doing a lot of going to the Bayern line, pulling it back. We saw it a lot against Bologna. We saw it a couple of times today for goals, and really trying to utilize the cross. Whereas I think earlier in the season, or there were different parts when we weren't scoring as many goals, I think I quoted us being like Arsenal of old. We try and walk it into the net and taking too long, and it's just a quicker style of play now, where we're still sort of passing the ball around when we need to, but we're doing it with purpose. Get to the byline, pull it back in, cause a bit of confusion in the box, cause a bit of chaos. And then your man Ollie, who you just put the picture up there, he was in the perfect place, perfect time. All he had to do, like you say, was the easiest goal he'll ever score. All he has to do is just pop up. Had the space on defender and just guide it home, and he did that. But yeah, brilliant. It's amazing, what a difference McGinn and Tielemans have made. Like, you just say two players. Like, I know we talked about Barkley and being injured, and Cash for a little bit, but Cash has played the majority of the season. But McGinn and Tielemans, I don't know what they do to this team.
I know.
it just galvanizes us, and it's just I can't. I find it really hard.
I think it's trust. Like players with Yuri, if they make the run, they trust that he's going to find them, and they trust that he's going to see them. And then with McGinn, it's just that heartbeat, that all round. I don't want to get all what's the word? All Gen Z, but the aura that he brings to the game, and just at one point he's the closest player to Ollie. The next point he's out on the right. The next bit he's challenging Xhaka, or he's holding off the fullback or something. Like he's just everywhere. And I was saying in the first half, other than that move, which was brilliant, he was maybe out on that right hand side, a little bit isolated away from where the action was happening. But we'll come to it more later. But the influence that he had, sort of the back end of the first half and the first 20 minutes of that second half, was just incredible. But yeah, the two of them are just it's amazing what they bring and how they raise everyone else's game.
That's exactly it. It's they raise everyone else, and I love McGinn, and I know his qualities well. I know what he's good at. I know what he's not great at, but I wonder if I'll ever stop underestimating him. Like, you use the term aura,
yeah,
and it's like you look at him and you just think, surely he's done, right? Surely that, and another big injury. Surely his age. Surely, the quality of the players that are coming into the team. Surely this is his time. You've got to remember, this is a man we've had since the championship.
I know.
He's been with us since the championship, and he just keeps improving. He's like, this is me. I'm going to get a bit nerdy here, but there's like a thought process with Superman. When you try and compare him to other superheroes, Superman is a superhero that can't be beaten because he scales. Like, his power always increases to fit whatever challenge is in front of him. And that's why Superman is such an annoying superhero to have those conversations with. And it's like John McGinn. He's the same. Whatever level we're playing at, he just scales. He's just like, all right, I'll just get a bit better than I guess.
What, PSG? Yeah, I'll score against them.
Yeah, I'll 35 yards. 35 yards wonder goal.
Yeah.
And he really is good at raising his level to match what we need at the time.
Yeah.
And just a big testament to him. Amazing cross, great goal for Ollie, and it was such a good start as well. It felt like that feel good from Bologna just dragged straight into the rest of this game straight away. It was really good.
Absolutely, but we didn't capitalize on that immediately because it was Sunderland who wrestled control of the game and started to attack us, started to get those rotations in positions, and we were a little bit. We couldn't quite adapt to it very well, particularly down our left-hand side, their right-hand side. Mukiele and Chris Rigg, very impressive. And it was Chris Rigg who curled in a wonderful effort into the bottom far corner with his left foot after being set up by Sadiki. And he's an impressive player, Chris Rigg, but yeah, just pegged us back with a lovely goal.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about, the Premier League. Like, we can talk about Sunderland's other two goals later, but that's just quality, right? I mean, the ball comes in. We probably should have done a better job at clearing it. It came to Sadiki, laid it off to Rigg, and Rigg just he places it into that far corner on Emi's right hand side. But there's just nothing you can do about it when you go at that pace and that power and that whip on the ball. It's a really tough ask for any goalkeeper, and they deservedly on that piece of play, like, got back into the game. I wasn't worried though, because, and I said this at the start, this is a Premier League and Sunderland are a good side, and their position in the league proves that. And it's not always going to be easy sailing, plain sailing for not just for Villa but for any team, but especially Villa. We love to make it so hard on ourselves as often as we can. So yeah, it was a brilliant goal, and I think we responded relatively well after that. We responded very well after that, and we'll get into it. But it's a good goal, and fair play to Sunderland. You can't say much more about that.
No, absolutely. And it did seem to kick Villa back into life a bit. They got organised, they kept the shape better, and then they started to get Yuri on the ball a bit more. Onana started to have a bit more impact, and most importantly, Maatsen sort of grew into that first half a little bit more. I don't know if it was a ball from Tielemans that he spotted him in behind, and he didn't end up getting the crossing, but he actually got in behind the defence and sort of forced Mukiele to come in and shield it and shepherd it out. But I think that's what gave him a bit of confidence to say, I can get forward. And then it was the key moment. Rodgers persevering. He couldn't get past Mukiele. He couldn't. I mean, Mukie's a brilliant player, in my opinion. Really good defender, really good player. But he couldn't get past him, but he kept possession of the ball, which was key. Saw the overlap, saw the run from Maatsen, perfectly weighted pass in behind. Then Maatsen looks up, and this is probably Ian Maatsen at his best, gets that byline, whips the cross in. And it's great movement from Watkins. I've seen the goal a couple of times, and he lets O'Neill go in a little bit and just pulls his run back a little bit. O'Neill completely misses it, and Watkins can head it in again into an empty net and puts Villa 2-1 up.
Yeah, I mean, there's different skills that you have as a player, right? And as a striker, finishing is not the only skill. It's positional play. And both times for his first and his second goal, Ollie was in the right place at the right time. And that's and when you watch his movement today, that wasn't by luck. Exactly as you said, he lets O'Neill go in a little bit and he drops back. And obviously it's a skill from Maatsen to find him. And he puts the cross in at such pace that all Ollie needs to do is make contact with it. Really.
Yeah.
He just has to get his face on it. Like any body part that's going in, because of the pace. But it's another byline. It's another ball across the face of goal and seeing what happens, giving Ollie, and maybe that's what you need. Maybe for Ollie, that because we know what kind of player he is. Those are the types of opportunities he likes. He doesn't really love the one-on-one when he's 20, 25 yards out. He doesn't. Maybe he prefers playing with his head than his feet.
He's always good in the air, isn't he? There's a couple of goals this season already. The Chelsea winner that I remember direct from the corner. Like he's
scored a lot with his head this season.
Scored
a lot with his head, and has traditionally, historically been very good. Been good with his head, and he was just in the right place at the right time. He put himself in the right places. He did his normal stuff that he always does: his hold-up play, his running, his pressing, all of that good stuff. But today, you can see the confidence back in Ollie, and my God, is it at the right time? It is like I've never been more right about a human being in my life. I'm convinced.
You sound dangerously like Martin here. I'm giving yourself credit.
You know what? I'm going to give myself credit because I've never said that Ollie Watkins is just a terrible player. I've said he's a form player. And I've been saying this for 3 seasons now. He goes through purple patches of form. That's just how he is. When his confidence is high, he starts banging in goals. And he's in a purple patch moment at the moment. And thank God he is, because it's just the perfect time. We've got 5 games to go in the Premier League. We've got 3 games to go in the Europa League, hopefully. God, Ollie, just keep it up for 8 games, mate. Just 8 games to go.
I know. It'll be crazy. He's got, as Rachel says, I have starred loads of comments, people. So we will come back to that when we talk about specific players and their performances. But yeah, absolutely. And Rachel said he's on 15 goals this season now, so in all competitions. So let's hope that there's plenty more. Now we went in 2-1 at half time, and we wanted to hit the ground running in the second half, and that's exactly what we did. And you mentioned McGinn, and I said it on the watch on that. Even from the first half, you could see Sunderland look dangerous in possession, but they do commit bodies forward. And you knew that if we nicked the ball or won the ball off them, there would be gaps in behind and we'd be able to capitalise. And McGinn wins the ball on that right-hand side. They try and bring him down. They ain't stopping him because he is motoring up that right-hand flank. He sees Barkley. Barkley somehow keeps the pace up to follow. Gets the ball into Barkley, who suddenly then loses the speed as the Sunderland players are coming up to him. However, keeps his composure, keeps his skill set, plays the ball across, and Rodgers sees Watkins behind him, does that little dummy, but carries his run. Watkins, first time, little pass into Rodgers. Now, Rodgers, the ball, it was a good ball from Watkins, don't get me wrong, but it was slightly lifted. So there's more that Rodgers had to do. Perfect first touch, and then an even better second touch with his left foot into that bottom far corner. And Morgan Rodgers is back. Morgan Rodgers is back. Beautiful goal. And yes, sets us 3-1 up.
Yeah, and it all starts with McGinn again. let's go back. McGinn, you know, using his body is so smart to win the ball without giving away the foul. Very easy to do there when the ball becomes a little bit loose and you see an opportunity go in. And that's just culture. That's experience. That's, you know, him using the right parts of his body to do that. Everyone knows his arse.
Yeah.
Is the first thing.
A certain body part that is unique to John McGinn.
Unique, honestly. His arse has got more of my attention than Cardi B's at the moment. It's mental. Yeah, no, it all starts with McGinn, and then the difference between now and our worst part in the season is everyone runs with him as soon as he gets the ball. Break. Yeah, it's not him going forward and then stopping and then playing it back to Cash and then going back to Konsa and then trying to build the attack from there. We're already on the attack. We're already in a good place. And we just move forward. And Rodgers, I don't know if this is true or not, or where this is from, but the commentators in the game said that apparently Unai Emery said that Rodgers is in dire need of a rest, in need of resting and sort of benching is what they insinuated. Because he hasn't been at his best, if I'm being honest. He's been losing the ball a lot. He's not been getting the goals and the assists that he would want. I know he scored against Bologna, and I know that he scored today, but over the last 10, 15 games,
I think everyone would agree. Yeah.
He's not been at his best. But today, I think he knows that he's being considered out of form. And there's a very important World Cup coming up in the summer. And I think that's not his only motivation. I'm sure he wants to do his best for Villa, and he knows that we're close. We're on the precipice of doing something huge this season, winning a European Cup, a European trophy, our first trophy in 30 years. So I know that he's got motivation all over the gaff, but he picks up the ball really well. Ross Barkley does well to get the old legs up to that speed. And Morgan Rodgers does exactly what you expect him to do.
Yeah.
And
there was no doubt. As soon as he killed that ball, there was no doubt.
No, and that's the thing, and this is what I talk about, sort of clinical one-on-one. Like that's the attitude you want, that's the finish you want, and puts us, going in 2-1 up to. I barely sat down for my tea after half time, if I'm being honest, and then and then being 3-1 up at the start of the half. Any sort of confidence that Sunderland had that they're only a goal up, we can get back into this. You just take the wind right out of their sails, and it was just brilliant. Another team goal as well, which I really loved. A lot of players involved in the build up.
100%. Now there wasn't a lot to talk about between minute 49 and minute 86. We missed a few chances. We probably could have put the game to bed, but it looked like it was just sort of ambling towards a comfortable victory. I was talking about who's going to get the man of the match and getting involved in the chat. And all of a sudden, Sunderland kick into gear, helped in large part by Aston Villa mistakes. But talk to me about that mad 90 seconds where we somehow conspired to concede 2 goals. What was happening?
If we hadn't scored the 4th, I would have sworn there was some match fixing going on. If I'm being honest, it was just a litany of errors, mistakes. I don't know if it was that we switched off. I don't know if it's that we were so close. The pressure started to build. Sunderland went up a gear, like you said. I just remember Sancho having 2-3 minutes to forget and to not write home about, because it was mind-boggling. I was in shock. I was jaw on the floor. I was head in hands. I was like, what is going on here? 3-2 made me nervous. And I thought that we were playing a surprisingly high line, considering we've got 10 minutes to go. We're 2 goals up. Like, sit back, hit them on the counter-attack. We were playing really high up the pitch, and maybe that was the game plan. Like, just keep the best form of defense is offense. Maybe that's what we were going for, but it was just, it was just errors, and obviously Hume gets the first goal, and you think, oh crap, that's literally the 86th minute,
I know.
and then the 87th minute somehow the balls slid through. Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa just have this motorway in between them, and Isidore picks up the ball, and it's a great finish. And you just think, hold on a second, what's happened there in those 2 minutes? How have we even given the ball away quickly enough to
well, they were still showing the replay of the first goal when they flicked to Isidore running through, and I was like, what is going on? But yeah, I think Seymour said taking McGinn off and putting Sancho on is what happened. But you don't expect, even making those changes, you don't expect Sancho or even one or two of the other Villa players to be so lax in possession. It was laboured going across the back. I'm not making any excuse for Sancho because the ball goes into him up the line, and all he's got to do is control it, hold off the player, and then just, then start moving. But his first touch is way too heavy. He tries to then beat the first man with the little fast feet. He doesn't. The player gets a little touch on it, and then Hume just picks his pocket and comes straight through. Then I guess he's got that motivation to think, I've just made a mistake. I need to do something right. So he takes it all on his shoulders, to beat one or two players. He beats one, overruns it. Lefy takes the ball off him, looks up, and then all of a sudden, I don't know whether it was because Brobby had gone off the pitch that Konsa and Mings thought, we've done our job now. We can relax. But they totally took their eye off Isidore. He's straight through. And yeah, Martinez slips a little bit and he's put it in. And I was literally speechless. I could not believe it. And for those 4 or 5 minutes after that, I was like, we have messed up this Champions League. This is all going to go to pot. What is going on? However, I think this is probably the key moment of the game. In almost identical circumstances, Diarra is played through. He is in exactly the same situation as Isidore. Runs through. Then for him, rather than putting it into either corner, which he could have done so easily, Martinez stands up, which I think probably just put a little bit of doubt in his mind. He tries to chip him, and this big palm comes up into the air and just grabs the ball. And that was the match-winning moment, in my opinion. And we'll come to the next one, but that was so important, that save from Martinez.
Sounds familiar, right? 3-3. Opposition on the attack, 1-on-1. Emi Martinez to save the day. Villa have just experienced an Argentina-esque moment from Emi Martinez. It was the same thing, exact same thing happened in the World Cup final against France. And I mean, Christ alive. Firstly, how in God's name did the exact same thing happen again? The audacity to try and lob Emi Martinez got exactly what that felt like karma to me. And after I'd finished cleaning up all the shit that was in my pants, I was just like, oh, what has he tried to do there? Do you know what I mean? And it's just the defenders got bailed out, and this we're sitting here and having a chuckle, and the mood would have been so different if we'd have lost this game 4-3. So yeah, I mean, Martinez saved our blushes. He saved Konsa and Mings' blushes, and
he won us an extra 2 points. Well, you could say he won us 3 points, really, because that would have been game, set, and match.
That would have been game over, yeah. And what's better is he made this save, then he picks up the ball, and he doesn't hold on to it. He doesn't pat himself on the back. He rolls it out to Yuri Tielemans. And not 30 seconds later, we see, Villa with the ball on the edge of Sunderland's box. Little ticky-taka around. Ball falls to Luca Dean. Whips in a horrible cross for Sunderland to deal with. It's a nightmare of a cross. The keeper doesn't know whether to stay, whether to go. it's bending round, so the defenders don't really know where it's going, and who's there but Mr. Aston Villa, Tammy Abraham, to just give it the touch it needs. It's all it needed was a little touch, and you know, I've given a lot of praise to Watkins. I think he was brilliant today, and deserves all of the plaudits. But from Tammy, this demonstration of what could be a really frustrated player, signing for Villa in January, barely playing any minutes, and then he just comes on when needed, when called upon, keeps his head in the game, and he just does the business. He does what he needs to do, and as important as Emi Martinez's save was, this was not an easy chance to finish. He's fighting with the defenders. He needs to make sure he doesn't hit it straight at the keeper. He gets the touch on that he needs, goes into the corner in the 94th minute, and oh my God, breathe again.
Oh,
Scenes
honestly,
in the stands, scenes at home, and that was the moment that for me, this season felt doable. It felt like everything that we're hoping for, everything that we're fighting for, no longer in my lifetime are Villa going to be the perennial nearly men. That goal it meant more than just winning this game, because if I'm being honest, if we didn't win this game, I'm still pretty confident that we'd finish in the top 5. I don't think Chelsea catching us, but it's a demonstration that we're not bending over for anyone. It's never done. It's not over till it's over. And it was just incredible. What a goal, what a finish, what a result, what an end to the game, and what a platform for Villa to kick off in our semi-finals and finals and end of the Premier League.
Well, we've scored quite a few late goals this season to get rescue points or to get wins. We've also come back from losing positions a hell of a lot. They had that stat, and I think it's Sunderland and Villa that are actually top of that. I think back to the Arsenal win, last minute goal, last kick of the game from Buendia. Tammy Abraham rescuing us a point against Leeds towards the end of the game. And obviously today, and that's what you need. Rescuing a point against Leeds and winning the game today, what's that worth? 20 million we've signed him for. That goal today, yes, we may well have got Champions League football anyway, but had we lost that game, the pressure goes on a little bit more. The Villa fans, players get a bit tense. It's huge, right? It's absolutely huge. And Tammy comes alive when the ball's in the box. We know that he's clinical. And what a ball in from Luca Dean as well. He didn't want to pass it to Sancho, which I'm glad he didn't, because he's probably going to give the ball back to Sunderland and they'll go through and score. But yeah, Luca Dean, key moment again, putting the brilliant ball in, as you say, and what a finish, what an end to the game. And yeah, I think we circle back right to the start. It sums up. Well, actually, it's a throwback game to what Premier League football was. That like you said, the Barclays men. It was an old style game. Sunderland were going for it, right? Sunderland are thinking, well, we can put pressure on. We can potentially qualify for Europe. Pressure's off. We've secured survival. We can just go for these games. And they gave us a real game. Villa knew that we had the quality. We've got players in form. We've got players who are confident. And it was a real proper game of football. I'm just glad that we came out the right side of it. That's what I'm glad. And we could reflect on what a brilliant game it was. I don't think I want to go through that every week, but just a great advert for
Yeah, like you say, we never make it easy. We don't win a lot of games comfortably. That game against Bologna felt foreign to me, not because they're Italian, but because it was so comfortable. Yeah, it's just like you say, it's a mentality. It's a difference between us now and us then. We never say die. 19 points from losing positions. That stat doesn't go up after today because technically we were never losing against Sunderland. But it's a remarkable team effort. And, there are 3 things that I'm looking forward to at the end of the season. The first is being European champions once again. The second is enjoying a summer with Champions League football where we can go and try and sign some exciting players and rejuvenate the squad. And the third is sending Jadon Sancho the hell home. My God, just get out, mate. Get out. I've had enough.
Bless him.
Yeah, but you know, Jadon Sancho is not that he doesn't try. He's just not the player he once was. He can't turn like he used to. He loses the ball a criminal amount, and he's kind of like Rodgers in that respect. Rodgers loses the ball a lot, but he does a lot more to make up for it than Sancho does. But I don't want to dig him out. I mean, let's be honest. He has been playing very sporadically, and it wasn't his best game. And luckily, there was no consequence from it today, apart from maybe our goal difference being a little worse than we wanted to do. But our goal difference is miles away from everyone else's anyway, so it doesn't really make a massive difference. But it's just, I think as a fan base and you know, as a club, I think we can just be happy, like you say, that we're on the right side of this result and this spectacle. And I genuinely feel like we deserved it. I think we were the better team across the 90 minutes, and I think, you know, you can get punished in the Premier League, and it was actually really nice because it was a reminder of how good we can be and how easily you're punished if you switch off. So there's so much to take away from that game. Like I said, ultimately there were no consequences for you know, the mistakes that we made because we won the game. And oh, hello,
You there?
am I still there?
Yeah. Still hear you loud and clear, mate.
Oh, my computer's just absolutely shut down the window. I'm back now. Yeah, there's no consequences. We learned a lot, and it's just, yeah, I'm just so happy. I'm buzzing. That's another 3 points. And
yes,
what do you reckon, Rich? Champions League signed, sealed, delivered?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's enough there for us to win. You know, I think we get a point at minimum against Fulham. I think we beat Spurs, and I think we beat Burnley. So by that time, I think it's done. And 10 points already clear of Chelsea. You're assuming that Chelsea are going to win all of their games pretty much, and they're just not going to do that. No. You know, they're just not going to do that. They've got Brighton away on Tuesday night. That's a tough game for them. They've got Spurs to play as well. I think they have Liverpool as well, do they? Yes, they've got Liverpool. They've got Liverpool. So Chelsea's remaining games are Brighton away, Nottingham Forest at home, Liverpool away, Tottenham at home, and Sunderland away. So, you know, even their game against Liverpool, that's obviously going to have an effect on you know, both of those teams. They draw and we win that week, we obviously go further ahead. Chelsea lose, that takes them totally out of it. They win, that gives us a better shot against Liverpool as well. So I think we can pretty much say we've got it, mate. I'm very, very confident via league position. We've got it. Yeah, and they've got 2 games in there in Forest and Spurs, which aren't going to be easy because they're both fighting for survival. You know, they're both in that relegation fight. So I think Chelsea right now are Villa's biggest fans because I'm a strong believer that they're still going to be playing Champions League football next year because we're going to win the Europa. So but if we win the Europa and finish in the top 4, it's only the top 5 that get it. It doesn't go down to 6. We have to finish 5th and win the Europa for it to go down. I thought 5th already got through the 5th has it. 5th has it through the coefficient, but there's not an extra spot if we come in the top 4 and win it. There's some sort of strange rule. That's really weird because if we finish 5th and don't win, if we finish 5th and don't win the Europa, then we're in the top 5. Yeah. If we finish 5th and win the Europa, then 6th gets it. But if we finish 4th or higher and win the Europa, 6th doesn't get it. Just there's still 5 teams. That's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. I am. I'm fully on board for finishing in the top 4 then because I don't want to see Chelsea rewarded for their measly 48 points this season or whatever it is that they've got. Get out of here. You haven't earned it. It's crazy. It's a crazy rule. I don't know what it is. There's something to do with coefficients or something like that. It goes to another country's coefficient or something. But it's a weird thing. They were talking about ESPN, the American sports channel, about they couldn't get their heads around it. But there's actually interesting in the comments. People are saying that it's the other teams. Ross says more chance of the other teams getting us, and then someone else, Seymour, said he'd be more worried about Brentford and Bournemouth now than Chelsea. Anything about Brentford? I think they've drawn a hell of a lot of games. I think they've drawn the last 5. So again, I can't see them winning 3 or 4 games in a row. Bournemouth could be on a good run. Brighton maybe as well, but again, it's going to take a hell of a dip in form for us, and then a brilliant upturn in form for any one of those teams to turn that around. So it's I'm very confident. I'm very confident.
I can't see it. I'm more worried now about our semi-final against Forest, because they had a 4-1 win today.
Yeah,
Morgan Gibbs White bagged a hat trick after you called him a busy fool. I don't know why.
I know, mate. He's absolutely killing it at the minute.
Well. You're taking the piss, Rich, because I said to you he's a good player.
I didn't say it live on the podcast. I said it in chat.
Yeah, but I said to you, I really like Morgan Gibbs White. I think he's a good player. And you said, "Nah, he's a busy fool. He's not very good." I was like, "Nah, watch it." And then he's turned into prime number 10. No, it's fine. Look, what will be. We're playing well. We're winning games. We've got an upturn in form in players at the right time. Ollie Watkins seems bang up for it. He's found his confidence. He wants to play in the World Cup, whatever minutes. Harry Kane doesn't want to play. Morgan Rogers wants to go to the World Cup. Esri wants to start at the World Cup, and there are a plethora of international players. Emi Buendia's, he wants to get back into that Argentina squad, and so it's one of those where everyone is motivated for so many different reasons. They're motivated for themselves, for their national teams, for Villa, and like I say, I think we're really on the precipice of doing something spectacular this year, something really out of the ordinary.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I do think there's an inner steel and an inner determination from the players. Just today, 92nd, 93rd minute, to then turn it around after almost being on the floor. Big save from Martinez. Big goal from Tammy. 2 contributions from 2 substitutes, Luca Dean and then Tammy. Fantastic. And it is kind of so good to be on the back of a result like that, and that you take so much heart from those type of results. You cruise, and then you get knocked back, and then you come back again to get the knockout blow. It's fantastic. I know we've done a bit of a focus on McGinn and how important he is, and what a great game he had, and how influential he was. I know we've talked about Watkins and what a brilliant game he had today. And he's gone back to basics. He's making a nuisance of himself. He's targeting one particular centre-back a game. Today it was mainly Luke O'Neill, and he did get onto Alderete a couple of times as well, but predominantly just targeting one centre-back, making a nuisance of himself against that player, and he's getting the rewards. I also feel like, as you mentioned about McGinn and Tielemans having an impact, it also has an impact on players getting around him. He seems to have more players around him, and I guess that comes with confidence as well of the other team. But when we were really criticizing him and this is not absolving him because he was terrible, right? But we was criticizing him for holding on to the ball for way too long and then just getting it taken off him. He was taking too long to make the decisions. But it seems like at the minute he's got Rodgers to pass to, he's got Maatsen to pass to, or Luca Dean, whoever's on that left-hand side. He's got McGinn to play to, he's got Tielemans to play to, he's got Barkley or Buendia, whoever's playing out of those two. He seems to have more people around him to maybe utilize. So I think that's giving him some confidence, and then he's able to get in the box and do what he wants to do. So yeah, big shout out to those two. But any other performances, any other players today that stood out for you that you want to give a bit of a shout out to as well?
I think it was a usual game from the usual suspects in defense. Obviously, we've talked about Martinez in the midfield. I can't get over how much I love Yuri Tielemans. I really can't. He's just such a almost flawless player at times. Like, he just does everything with so much ease. Very rarely loses the ball. He's a conductor, right? If you say if you say that John McGinn is the heart of this team, then Yuri Tielemans is the engine, and he really is. He just makes everything go, and he's been sensational. And I think that him coming back has contributed heavily to Watkins upturning form, because they know that the ball can get to them wherever they are, and it will come in quicker. And I think it's. I don't think it was a spectacular performance for a lot of players. John McGinn had a brilliant game. Watkins had a brilliant game for the reasons that you've just outlined there. And you're right. It doesn't absolve him of the season that he's had. And I know that someone said he's got 15 goals in all competitions. You know, he's played about 50 games. He won't be happy with that return. But if you know, when you analyze a player, you say he's doing X, Y, and Z wrong, and then he fixes it, and he comes out and he starts scoring good, you know, big goals and big moments. If you don't give him the credit and the praise, then it's just a vendetta, right? Then you're just saying, oh, it doesn't matter what he does, but it's exactly what you've said. He's more purposeful. He's getting himself in front of the box, and we seem to be tailoring our play to his strengths. His strengths are not pursuing one-on-ones and scoring from outside the box, and you know, he doesn't like having the ball at his feet too much. He likes to receive the ball in the 6-yard box or around it, around the penalty spot, and he likes finishing those chances, likes keeping defenders busy, keeping them guessing, moving, and making sure that the players around him find him. And we are tailoring the way that we play to suit Ollie more, and he's delivering. So you have to give him credit. You know, as easy as it is for me to slag him off when he's being shit, it's equally easy and 10 times more satisfying to credit him when he's doing well. And like I said, we need every ounce of this form and this purple batch and this confidence for these next 8 games. Like if Ollie can do what we need him to do over those next 8 games, if he can score in the semi-final and in the final and get us into the Champions League through the Premier League, it doesn't matter what I say anymore. It doesn't matter, because that's it. He's done it. It doesn't matter what anyone says. You know, you can't ask for more than delivering what he will have delivered. So it was a good team performance. Again, Onana, I think he brings a lot of energy. I think he's just great for the rest of the team. But a good performance from everyone. A few standouts today. Morgan Rogers obviously took his goal really well, and you just need that. You need everyone. Everyone needs to feel like they're playing well. Everyone needs to feel like they're contributing, and we as fans need to just recognize that. And I'm not one of these fans who's always like, oh, you always have to support the boys, and you know, otherwise.
I think one thing that we do on this channel, mate, is we'll either debate between each other or whoever's on at the time, but we'll also call out. Not that they listen or care, but we'll call out the players when I feel or you feel that they deserve to be called out. And I think that's what a lot of people respect about our channel. I'm not going to be a happy clapper. And I was talking to my dad about this before, and I was saying, I won't have, like you say, like a vendetta against a player, and just regardless of whatever they do, I don't like them or whatever. I mean, I apologized to Emi Martinez, didn't I? But
you did try to take it back quite a few times.
What annoys me is when I know what capabilities a player has and they don't fulfill those capabilities. I knew that Amadou Onana has the physical capabilities to dominate midfields. You can just see it, right? He has all of the God-given talent and the God-given abilities to be able to dominate midfields. And it's now that he's starting to put those performances together again. So impressed with him, just keeping to the basics, winning the ball, not taking the ball too far, releasing it to someone, not trying to do pirouettes in the middle of the pitch or try and do 60-yard diagonal balls, just doing his job, and he's getting the rewards. Watkins, we keep saying, you know, McGinn just harrying, hassling, Buendia harrying, hassling, doing what he does best, trying to find little areas to affect the game. So this is what I'm loving, and it's exactly the same. You know, Cash working on his 1v1 defending. He had a tough game against Jonathan Rowan in the game in Bologna, but boy did he learn how to deal with him on Thursday. And then today, bits where their left winger had the ball, and he's just watching the ball, watching the feet. He doesn't flinch. He concentrates the whole time and just takes the ball off him. Like, so much improvement on his 1v1 defending. So that's what I like, because you're seeing players, as you say, seeing their weaknesses, trying to improve on those weaknesses. But when they don't perform to the level that I know that their potential is, which is why we get frustrated with Morgan Rogers, because he potentially has the highest ceiling out of all of them. That's when I get frustrated. But it's not out of like thinking that the players are shit or this or that. It's because I know how good they can be, and when they let those standards drop. You know, McGinn said it today. They won 4-3, but he's disappointed because they shouldn't have got themselves into that situation. So even they're saying we have high standards as a club, and that's what we as supporters have to keep reminding the players of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we should do that. But I'm in two minds about this, because I also feel like for these next 8 games, right? Hopefully 8 games, maybe 7.
Yeah.
I feel like they just need to. We can't drop the confidence out of them. I just want us to push on. I want, I don't want to sit here and slag off Ollie Watkins or slag off this player or that, apart from Sancho, because I hope he doesn't play many games. But but do you know what? Yeah, there's always a but. Come on, I've got to dig someone out.
No, I mean, everyone was like, what? I was literally in the commentary. I was like, just don't give him the ball. Just don't give him the ball.
No, I mean, the people pay good money to see me slag someone off, so I can't deprive anyone. But no, I really feel like we need to be together, and the boys seem so up for it. They seem so in love with the club at the moment and in love with what we're doing. And I just hope we can root out the mistakes. I think you've also got to bear in mind, and I know that this is an excuse that you never like, and I generally don't like it, but we've played a lot of football and we have a very small squad, and it's going to be a monumental ask for these players. Hopefully, if we can make sure that Champions League is mathematically impossible to lose, maybe we can start resting a few players, because I have 1.5 eyes on the Europa League at the moment. We've come this far.
Oh, mate, yeah. We've got a nice week up now as a squad. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Unai just says have till Wednesday off, lets them be off, and then, I mean, maybe even Thursday. We have got the early kickoff on the Saturday, mind.
That does sound like Unai Emery, doesn't it?
Yeah, get them, and then get Champions League qualification sealed, and then, like you say, put players like, give minutes to Lindelof. I know Mings came in today, but give Buendia minutes, give Bogard minutes, give Bailey minutes, and start rotating, because yes, you've got to put the eyes on the prize for the Europa League, which is so important. But I agree, mate. I agree. No, I do think there's a level of rhythm that players have to get into, and you've seen him play Yuri Tillemans getting into that rhythm, McGinn getting into that rhythm. But yeah, people like Rodgers definitely need their minutes managed. Because
I was just about to say,
we want him at his best.
I was just about to say, you suggesting giving Bailey minutes was not going to go down well.
No, but he's still. I know. I actually don't think he played bad when he came on against Bologna.
I thought he was very good.
Played that bad.
I thought
he had one bad first touch. Okay, what player doesn't? But he ran at them. He set up the chance for Luka Dean. He nearly scored himself. I don't think he was bad at all.
I don't think he was. I was literally. I was sat with Gary and James from the Every Week We Follow podcast, and their seats are really, really low. Hello, really low to the ground in the Trinity, and so he was on my side. He's on the right hand side, and everyone was, as soon as he touched the ball, everyone was going, "Oh!" And I was like, "Hold up! Look at what he's doing. He's not playing badly. He's taking the ball inside. He's playing it off." And this is what I'm saying. We just need to give everyone as much. I think Ollie Watkins is a perfect example of what a player playing with confidence and a player playing without confidence looks like. Just, and Ollie Watkins has in part regained that confidence, because every week, no matter how poorly he's played, the Villa fans are singing Ollie Watkins. He's been the most backed, out of form player. I honestly, in my whole life, in 35 years of watching football, I've never seen I've never seen a player just so supported and so, loved by his fans, and fair play to him. He's earned it. He's absolutely earned that. Even if he didn't get it from me.
Well, you're giving him enough today, mate.
Yeah,
no. Do you know who's not watching as well? Kevin's not watching. He's not in the chat, and you've been the most complimentary of Ollie Watkins I've ever known.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I'm complimentary because I'm just, mate, I have this feeling that something beautiful is about to happen. I really do.
Well, exactly. He's going to score the winner in the final or something like that. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Ollie Watkins. I just feel like we, as a club, I feel like this is the year after years and years of pain, and the best that I've ever seen out of this team was a playoff final win to get promoted to the Prem. Which, let's be honest, for a team the stature of ours shouldn't really be the culmination of your life support. And I just feel like it's not just if we win the Europa League. I think it's a transition from going to that almost team under Martin O'Neill where we'd finish 6th and 7th and never hit the Champions League, to being a team that's now in our second semi-final in Europe in 2 years. I had a semi-final in the FA Cup last year. Next season we'll be playing Champions League for the second time in 3 seasons. We are one of the most informed teams in Europe. Only Real Madrid and Bayern Munich have won more games in Europe than Aston Villa over the last 3 years. And I just feel like we are just living in the land of the gods. We are on Mount Olympus. We are exactly where, whenever I would play career mode on FIFA and I'd use Villa, this is where I take us. I take us to, I just want to see my team play in the Champions League and lift a European trophy and just do something, just do something brilliant. And I just feel like it's happened. And, you asked me earlier, was there anyone else that, we should give praise to? And it's Unai Emery. Oh my God, Unai Emery. The man never stops. He never stops increasing the level and increasing what we're capable of. And fucking hell, I just love that guy so much. Honestly, my son was born last year, and I asked my missus if we could call him Emery because I thought it was just a cool name. I might legally change his name. I might, even though he's a year old, I might just change it. We've been calling him Rowan for a year, but you know what? I feel like Emery's got a better ring to it, and I'm just, I'm made up about how we're going, but it's not over yet. No, it's not over yet. A lot of things can happen, and we need to push, and we need to continue. And this season isn't done by a long shot.
100%, mate. And yeah, you're totally right. Unai deserves all the praise, all the plaudits, to remain calm in that situation today. I mean, the look on his face when it went 3-3 for like a minute was just a picture. But then, to get the players back on track, for the players to compose themselves to get back on track as well, is just so important. And yeah, he's just been phenomenal. When you look at, again, McGinn talked about standards and what they expect from each other. They know that Unai will point out things that they've done right, point out things that they've done wrong. He'll go into tactical awareness of different teams and how they operate. He'll be looking at what to do for the next game against Fulham. Like, he won't let the players rest on their laurels or to think the job's done at all. But yeah, he just, a trophy from this season would just cement his place in Villa history. Just unbelievable. I don't want to get into, I know we talked about Sancho's mistakes and stuff like that, but I don't want to get into, like you say, Matt, I don't want to get into sort of negatives. I think we've been so positive tonight about so many of the performances. And it's
making me feel ill-rich.
Yeah, there was moments of madness in today's game, but we got through it. And I think the nature of what happened in today's game, I don't think is likely to happen too often in football and in future games. I don't necessarily think it will be something that will be majorly repeated. Yes, sometimes a substitute comes on and has an absolute howler. That's exactly what happened today. Yes, a couple of players can switch off, after they've had a tough game against a striker. That can happen. But we bounced back. I don't think that there wasn't anything today that really concerned me going into future games in terms of how we played. And if anything, like you said, in terms of the combination play, in terms of how we were getting forward, that encourages me, because some of the football we played today, some of the football we played on Thursday, some of the football we even played against Nottingham Forest, it's a joy to watch at the moment. So I just want to keep that positivity.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, especially that first goal against Bologna, that tiki-taka, Buendia and Morgan Rogers and Tielemans, it's good. It's all good. You know what? I feel like if after today you're not in a good place with Villa, it's because you don't want to be. That's honestly how I feel. And look, there are people who, the realists. I always consider George a bit of a realist. George nothing happens till it happens, and fair play. It's not a bad. He's always less disappointed than we are when things happen, because he always knows it's coming. But I absolutely, like you say, there's so much to be positive about. We could sit here and nitpick, and I was thinking before we came on the pod, I was like, I feel like those goals we don't concede those goals if Torres is on the pitch.
I agree.
That's
but maybe Brian Brobby has much more of an influence on the game.
Maybe I think Pau Torres has been sensational over the last month, and since he's come back. But I thought to myself, I was like, do I come here and make that point? Even if I'm making it anecdotally, and I'm just like, I don't, maybe that's something to consider. We took him off. That's a talking point, right? We didn't even include Torres in the squad today. That's how confident we were. Maybe we should be playing him until it's all signed, sealed, delivered. But I don't think it's necessary. Mings, for the most part, apart from those 2 minutes, you got to remember we're talking about 90 seconds of
exactly. We talk about Cash's 1v1 defending, but he plays a dangerous ball up the line to. I know it's poor defending from Sancho, but the whole back four across that was just way too casual. Yuri, brilliant game in general, but the pass from Lafay went through his legs. Like it's
that's a bit harsh.
No, I get that, but he it wasn't like it was right next to him. It was like, but you know what I'm saying. It's not all on Mings that we conceded those goals. Like I
think if it was a sustained 30 minutes of mistakes and what are we doing here? It was 2 minutes of madness. And I just feel like, look, at the end of the day, we got the job done. We did what we needed to do, and it's another step forward, another step in the direction that we need to be. So I just, enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen, because you never know when this might happen again. Look at Spurs. They were a couple of years ago. Honestly, I'm actually not trying to dig them out or take the piss out of Spurs, although we can if you want to. I don't want to, but I'm happy to participate. A couple of years ago, 2019, they were in the final of the Champions League. They had some of the best players in the world in their squad. They were riding high in fourth every year, and I genuinely feel like they're going to get relegated this year, or they might. Look at Arsenal, the proverbial nearly men, second again, ole ole. It could be. It might not last forever. So I really am just trying to enjoy it. And I think at the end of the day, if we end the season with no Champions League and no Europa League win, it'll be a bitter pill to swallow. But until that happens, I'm just going to try and enjoy it.
Yeah, positive vibes only. I want to give everyone the time to get settled in front of the television to watch Match of the Day. So we're going to call it a night there, Sam. Brilliant reflecting on that game. I thought we had to get on tonight and talk about it, because there's not very often you get a 4-3 absolute classic Premier League match. So had to get on. So thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I did star loads of comments, but I felt like we went through everything that people were commenting about. But thank you so much for your comments. We'll be back on Tuesday night for the fans forum. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of talking points to pick up on over the next couple of days. We'll also have a Fulham preview later on in the week and live watch along for Fulham versus Aston Villa. Make sure you hit that like button and do hit that subscribe button. We are, like I say, less than 50 away now, I imagine, from the big 7,000. We're back with regular shows as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Thank you all. Go on, Sam.
Sorry.
And follow Sam. Yes. Make sure you get following Sam. Yes.
As well as hitting 7,000, I'm trying to put more content onto my Instagram. Not so much on Twitter, but you can also hear my rants on there. But please do follow me on Instagram, guys, because I'm trying to put out more stuff and be a bit more active on that. So it'd be great if there is someone there to watch it.
Yes, make sure you follow him. Is it the same handle at Samwise_UTV?
Same handle. Yeah, that's the
Great
one.
stuff. Get following Sam on Insta. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you in the week. Fans on Tuesday night. Don't miss it. As always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.